Hello and welcome to the LionHeart Podcast. Today we've got a very special guest. This is episode 3, and this man you've probably seen on social media blowing up in Glasgow. It's none other than the very one and only Jordan from Spuddies, Southside.
Thanks, Scott, man. Thanks for having me on.
Brilliant. Now you're more than welcome, mate. And first of all, how are you?
I'm well, man. I'm all right. A bit tired, man.
Yeah.
Things have been very upbeat for the last 3-4 months, but aye, mate, I'm all right, man. I'm plodding on.
Good stuff. Good to hear it. Just going to start with a wee kind of icebreaker, right? If you know roughly how many potatoes you've made so far since you started, you know that answer? Just off the top of your head.
Maybe 30,000 plus.
30,000 potatoes. And when did you start it?
We opened the doors on the 17th of May.
Right.
So literally just had 12 weeks.
Wow.
Last week.
It's amazing,
Since
man.
we opened.
Brilliant. So, if you don't mind, mate, we're going to start off with kind of about your background, just about yourself, and then we'll get into the Spuddies stuff. So, how was life for you growing up? What did that look like?
Fine, mate. I grew up in the Southside.
Brilliant.
In Glasgow. I grew up in the smallest scheme in the Southside, to be fair, called Cocker Hill. We only get 3 streets. Three streets, man, in the scheme I grew up in, but it was really, really good. There was a lot running about, like the Pollock Park and stuff like that, and we had the football pitches across the road, so I was always sort of kicking about there, not I mean, skate park and stuff like that.
Were you causing chaos back then?
Oh, aye, man. I was speaking to somebody about this yesterday, like, see when we grew up, like, in the young team, like, we always protected our own scheme. Like, we would never cause any bother in our own scheme. Now you've got Wayne's running about setting fires, and their next door neighbour and all that, setting their next door neighbour's bin on fire and all that, you know what I mean? Men cheating on their own shops. Mental, man, how things have changed.
I think as well, like, obviously, knowing that as well, like, you know somebody's got your back. See if you're growing up in a wee scheme and stuff like that, like, feel alright.
Yeah.
But as soon as you start going outside of that, it's like you're fighting against other schemes and all this stuff. But I'm sure you've grown up now and that's all behind you in the past.
100%, man. But listen, it's growing up like that is, I want to change it for the world, because, like, gone with the way that we see kids growing up, like the day they're very isolated, the iPads and technology and all that sort of stuff.
Scary, innit?
It is quite scary, man. I mean, I can give my daughter the iPad and she'd be quite happily just sitting it all day, man, if you would let her. You know what I mean? But, you know, when you're no used to that and you tap into it, like from the laptop working, see after a couple of hours, man, you can feel it, you know what I mean? You're like, where was I there?
Exactly.
He's just so
Time just goes by, doesn't it?
It does.
The same and we Kyle as well. But have you any specific memories growing up in the south side? Any incident that happened or something that reminds you of being there, if you get me? A terrible way to ask that question, but you know what I mean.
I remember breaking my ankle doing keepy ups. Believe it or not. In the earthquakes.
How random is that?
Mental, man. I was just doing keepy ups and my ankle, and I broke my ankle. For anybody who knows me, man, like my pals, like we're all getting married and all that now, man, and having kids. But a couple of them remember that time specifically because I think I tanned my full prescription in about 2 days when I got it off the doctor I know back then. But I remember breaking my leg doing keepy ups. Like, we never really had any big things happening, you know what I mean? Used to be gala days there in Pollock that we would go to years ago. I think it was Locker Park. There was gala days and that there. Then you had the sort of odd football tournament. But apart from the stuff that you would get in the Pollock Park, but we never really had anything big happening. You know what I mean? Community wise, back in the day.
I think it was lacking that back then as well. Probably still.
Aye, probably still. I mean, last week, at the start of the month there, they had a gala day in the Morrison's car park in Cardonald across the road, and I was speaking to people and I was like, I can't remember the last time we had something like this, and they were anticipating 1,000 people turning up, and when I spoke to Paul, who has Include Me Too clubs, big shout out to Paul, man, great guys, great charity. They were saying they had about 3,000 people turn up.
That's amazing.
Massive. It just shows you.
It does. I think social media helps that these days as well. Do you know what I mean? Because you can put the word out a bit better.
Yeah.
And get more people involved and stuff like that. Did you always think as well, growing up, that you were different, or like something that you always felt like, I want to do my own thing? Or was there a point that you got to in life where you thought, right, I need to change? Or
There was a couple of points, like different turning points, and I still continue to get them in my life. Like when change is happening, sometimes it can be challenging, you know what I mean? But in the weakness, there's strength always. And I can remember a day I used to work at Hags Castle Golf Club, right? And I remember after I had left there, I continued with the landscaping stuff because I really had an interest in landscaping and horticulture and stuff like that. Plants and Latin names and where they grow and types of soil. It was just something that I had get interested in because my grand's neighbour was really interested, Billy. He's got a company called RCG Landscaping. I ended up doing a bit of time for him as well. And I remember I had went out. I got a Lenny a lawnmower and a strimmer, and I went round chapping doors round Moss Park, just asking people if they wanted their grass cut. And I remember I had made a week's wages in one day, the same amount of wages that I was getting in a full-time job, and I made that amount of money in one day. And I thought,
right,
there's something to this. And when I had came back, my wee gran was like, she couldn't believe it, man. She was like, how where'd you get that money for? You know what I mean?
What you selling?
What you selling? Aye. And then, so that was a sort of turning point that I thought, wait a minute, there's more to this here. And what was the other question again? You asked
Just about like if you felt like even when you were growing up and stuff, that you were maybe stand out or you were different, or you just had a different mindset for everybody else.
So, not necessarily the mindset. I do think now, you know,
there was something in you.
Something inside me now, man.
Right.
And to be honest, it's the spirit of God, man, that lives in me now. And you know, it's not by might, not by power, not by hard work, not by graft, not by anger, not by any of these things, rather than the spirit of God. That's what I believe. And if the spirit can live within you, it can run through you, and you can use it in your life, and it'll manifest. Whatever you manifest within you, the spirit of God will manifest outside you in your outside world. But I did feel out of place. I felt different, but no in a positive way. I felt different in a negative way.
What do you mean by that?
So like when I was younger, growing up, my mum and dad got a divorce when I was quite young.
Right.
And I can remember the sort of the turmoil within the family. And I've not seen my dad in a very long time. To be fair. I'll tell you the story. Quite deep, man. But I remember getting on a bus from my mom's house, going out to my gran's. And I got on the bus. My dad was a bus driver, and I put my money in for a ticket, and he didn't know who I was. And I walked on the bus, man. I cried my eyes out, man, up the stair.
What age were you then?
That's probably about 15 years ago, man. And I think I've only ever bypassed my dad, and I've like visually seen him, no spoke to him in a long time, but I've visually seen him, man, in the street one time after that. But so growing up, man, with that sort of stuff, I remember being at school and I felt out of place because people were like going to spend time with their mum and dads at the weekend and all that sort of stuff, and their dads were picking them up for school. And listen, I'm actually grateful for all these things that have happened in my life, because I wouldn't be the person that I would be today. This is just my experience, you know what I mean? And it's important to look back and be honest with your experience and see your life for what it is, because the only way you're going to grow is for to see these situations for what they are, and making yourself a stronger person because of these situations, you know what I mean? So I did feel at a place growing up, missing out and all that sort of stuff. But that wasn't where my strength came from. That was just an example, an answer to your question there about did I feel different? And the answer is I did, and I felt like I never fitted in.
Because of obviously your upbringing, obviously, for people that don't know, myself, I know how that feels, like with your dad not being there and stuff like that. You don't even realise at the time.
Yeah.
I think it's when you get older, you look back and you go, how now you know why you felt how you felt.
Yeah.
But I think, like you said, mate, there's a lot of strength to be held in to come for that, because a lot of people could go the opposite route and let that really get to them to the point where it could get them down a worse path. Do you know what I mean? So it's good that you found a bit of strength in that somewhere.
Yeah.
You were talking about obviously God. So when did you encounter this?
So, I mean, I was talking about like feeling sort of left out. So if anybody doesn't know me, like my background is recovery. So I became an addict. Growing up in my 20s, I didn't realise at the time, man, but for all these sort of traumatic experiences and stuff like that I had growing up, people don't sometimes identify it as trauma, but these things can leave a lasting effect within you, man. And there's a saying, remember, people used to say, sticks and stones may break your bones, but names will never hurt you. It's the biggest lie that's ever been told, man, and we shouldn't really be teaching people that, because you can heal a wound on your flesh with plasters or medication or going to the doctor, and it'll heal very quickly. Well, these things that ingrain in your brain psychologically stay longer than any other wound that you'll get. And the way that I see it is, I've thought about this before, is, you know, in my life and past experiences and past times in my life, it's like I have memories, right? And every memory that I've got is attached to a situation in my life where I've had high level of emotion, whether that be negative emotion or whether it be happiness, whether it would be love or any sort of positive emotion. And basically, the way that I see it is that when we are faced with an experience in our life where it's connected to a high level of emotion, our mind will take a screenshot at that time, and
like
then a photographic memory, and it'll take it back in the back of our minds. And now at any time after that screenshot has been taken, it can reoccur. Now, I remember like times where I'd be walking down the street and I would see somebody and I'd go, I'm sure he owes me 20 quid for 10 years ago. Right?
You got to get it back off him though.
No, but or there'd be situations where I would get taken back to negative times where I had a badging, for example, on a weekend. Now, what happens to me in the current situation, I try to stay current and live in the moment. Now, what happens if these negative thoughts come to the forefront of my mind, right, is that because of memories, I've had took that screenshot in my mind, I can see it again. Now, seeing it again is not the issue. When it becomes an issue is that if I dwell on that situation, and if I dwell on it long enough, the truth of the matter is I start to actually feel the emotions that were attached at that moment in time, whether it was 10 years ago, whether it was 5 years ago, whether it was 20 years ago.
That can lead to depression and stuff like that as well. And
start to currently,
if it's something good you remember as well.
100%. I then start to currently feel the same emotions that I felt in that time. Now, that's all good if it's love, if it's happiness, if it's excitement, or if whatever it may be, and these positive emotions. But when it's resentment, when it's fear, when it's anger, when it's jealousy, where it's hatred, where it's anxiety, where it's depression, when it's all these things, then it can really start to affect the person that become where I am here the now. And I had to learn all this sort of stuff, begin through 12-step programming, looking at my past and clearing up the wreckage of my past, and being able to identify times in my life where it was maybe my fault or maybe it wasn't my fault. You know what I mean? There's some things in your life that go wrong and you really don't have a part to play in it. But it can still cause trauma, and that's where you need God. Now, God's a healer, and if you can allow the presence of God into these wounds, whether it's psychological, whether it be emotional, whether it be physical, if you can let the power of God and the Spirit of God into these wounds, you can get healed for traumatic experiences. And I've had healing for traumatic experiences so many times through going through different programs, where it would be going to church and basking in the presence of God and allowing the Holy Spirit to come in and cleanse that. That's that story I told you earlier on about the situation with my dad getting on the bus. That get brought back up for me about 4 weeks ago after 15 years, right? And I was in church at the time, and I was on a Kingdom Come mission school, right? And there was a worship night, and I was praying, and I was like trying to listen to identify the word of God, And I could hear the Holy Spirit telling me, listen, you've just to bask in your presence. Just take a bit of time, just stop and allow me to come and work through your life. So what I done was I just sat during worship on the grun. I just took my shoes off and I was just getting comfortable, man, 'cause that's what it's all about. It's not about religion, it's about relationship, it's about being comfortable. You know what I mean? God doesn't want you to be uncomfortable or cause any of these bad things. He just wants you to be happy in his presence. And I just sat, man, and that time occurred where I went onto the bus with my dad, and when I was sitting there, the vision that I had in my mind's eye was myself, the person that I'm today, going onto the bus, up the stairs, and cuddled that younger version of myself.
Aye.
I managed to give myself a cuddle. And I get heavy emotional, man. The Holy Spirit came, man. I was overwhelmed with emotion, and I sat, and I was just, through seeing that, I was getting healing for that, because see, the next day, it never had any power on me. It had no power over me at all.
As if it just almost went away in some way.
Just almost went away. Like, the negative emotions that I used to feel when that screenshot came back into my mind, I never felt them anywhere. I just seen it for what it is, because I get healed through that.
There's peace in that.
And there's peace in that. Now, God works in mysterious ways, right?
It does, man.
So after the worship, you're going to doing a service, and it was a guest pastor for down south. And right through that ceremony, he says, I feel that I'm here to speak about the Father's love, about somebody has to embrace in the Father's love. So, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. Now, to be healed in that and embracing the Father's love from a spiritual connection for a higher power, which can hold the same significance in your life as a father figure in human life, is amazing, mate. Because this is the power of God. This is the power of God. I've been healed, and I've had amazing experiences, mate, in so many different things, man.
Aye. I think that's amazing as well, and God bless you for actually telling that story and stuff like that, 'cause I think anybody that watches that will maybe take something for that, Jordan, so good on you for actually being open about that as well. Powerful message, mate, and I agree with pretty much everything you just said there, to be fair, because recently obviously I found God. It was actually yourself that introduced me, and it's so powerful, man. I'm still at the early stages of my journey, but I'll get there. So
share how you found God, how that came about that day.
So basically, we were outside. We just ran an event, didn't we? For anybody that knows, obviously John's a pal of mine as well. And we're in a pub, and they asked us to help them take in the barriers, wasn't it? And that was a different time.
That was the same night, but before that, you were saying to me.
So before that, basically, I was picking up my son. He was at a party, and it was like a Sunday night or something like that. I went to pick him up, and I just felt dead sad and dead down and stuff like that, and mate, I just wasn't happy with myself. And obviously you had mentioned a couple of times that, mate, you need to find God, or just let it, just introduce yourself to it in some way. And then I phoned obviously Jordan. I says, look, mate, I don't feel good, I don't know what to do here. I was really emotional, I was quite upset and stuff like that, but I was still going to pick up my son, and I'm like, it just so happened it was in a church, believe it or not, just up the road from where I stay. And when I was on the phone to you, I said, Jordan, there's a cross right in front of me. He went, just go up to it and pray. I was like, I don't know how to pray, I don't know how to do all that stuff. Just walk up to it. I'll tell you a prayer, you just repeat what I say. And I did that, and it was amazing. But I was like, right, what do I do now, can I? He went, just leave it there, can I? Picked up my son, blah, blah, and then it was the next night or the next week or something like that. In the prayer, though, that I'm forgetting to mention, is that you had said, God, if you're real, show me.
Yeah, ask God to reveal himself to you.
Ask God to reveal himself, that was it. The exact words were said, and then a week later, we're clearing up the barriers, and we just seen a big pamphlet. Well, it was actually a wee pamphlet, and it had Jesus Christ's face on it, didn't it? And honestly, the feeling I got, I'm getting goosebumps even talking about this, the feeling I got for that was like, I hadn't felt anything like that in my life. And that's when I went, this is real. This is real, and that's when my journey started anyway. But enough about me, I'm not here to talk about myself. So just going into Spuddies then, I kind of feel like I want to keep going personal here, but we'll get into why you're on the podcast in the first place. So where did the idea come from for Spuddies?
It was an idea I had about this time last year. To be honest, I was thinking about it, and I was like, I seen the Spud Bros and stuff like that doing stuff, and I seen Spudman, and I thought, they're going to kick off here. And I was like, I think that's a great idea. We used to have Spud You Like, remember? Like years ago, there was a Spud You Like, and there was Fat Jackets as well. I think both of them were in Braehead, right? And Spud You Like was a big, massive company, man. You know what I mean? They sold it for a lot of money. And I thought, I think we could be doing it up here. So then I adopted the idea. I just wasn't in the situation to do it at this time last year. And I just sort of continued, and then I had an experience. I'm not going into it too much because I don't want to. I'm not going into it too much. But anyway,
recovery podcast. Sorry.
I had an experience when I went to another tortie shop, and I says to them, "This is a great idea. I had this idea," and the lassie who served me gave me attitude and basically says, wow. "Oh well, then somebody got here first." And I was pure taken back with a comment when I was genuinely trying to be nice. And I get into the car and I phoned my pal and I says, "Mate, look for a shop for me. I'm going to open up a baked potato shop." And within 2 weeks he had found me a premises. And it so happened that we were looking, and this is God again, and God's plan for us is always going to fulfil whether we like it or we don't. Yep. And it was it was in Cardonald. And
whereabouts in Cardonald is it? So
we're based in Lammermoor Avenue. So for anybody who knows Cardonald, it's just directly across from Morrison's, old post office.
Oh, aye.
In Lammermoor Avenue, just on the wee side street off Paisley Road West. For anybody who doesn't know it, 10 Lammermoor Avenue, G52 3BE.
A good wee plug there. I can vouch for this, by the way. The Spuddies are actually amazing, because I said to Jordan before I went there, I was like, it's baked totties not something I would order.
Yeah.
Or like I wouldn't go and just eat or something. Going, I fancy a baked tottie. But honestly, Jordan actually made the baked tottie for me, and it was absolutely banging, by the way. So highly recommended.
Yeah.
So what's one thing you wish you knew before opening the doors about the business?
Oh man.
Where do we start?
How long it took to cook a baked potato in a potato oven. I didn't have a clue about nothing, mate. I didn't have a clue about what type of potato to use. I didn't know it, and I just had a rough idea. And I think that I've got something. I've got a gift, man. I'm blessed to be able to adapt to situations and have a sort of entrepreneurial mindset, and the determination and the drive and the willingness to try and make something work. And that's what's kept it going. I mean, it's hundreds of learning, man. I could talk about hundreds of stuff. I didn't have a clue. Didn't have a clue about eating. Didn't even know there was a specific oven for a potato when I first started. But what I did know that was there was other potato shops opening up, and I thought, right, I need to make sure that I get this right. And it's all experiment and time, and it's all time and study and making mistakes and learning from them and taking note of them and then trying something different again. So it's all experimental.
That brings me to my next sort of question. When does the moment you thought, this is working? Did you have that aha moment?
No necessarily had a aha moment. I'm still early doors and where I want to take it. But my plans and that I've got for it, I'm still very, very early doors.
We'll go into that.
But I've not had a aha moment, like I've arrived or I've made it or anything. I've not got that.
Aye.
I've not got it.
What I mean is mainly like the business itself. Like I know this is going to work. Did you know have like a moment of that?
Oh, I knew it was going to work when I had started with 3 staff on the first day with 2 potato ovens and the queue was at the door.
Was it?
I was running out of potatoes every day.
And how did you manage to get the people in?
Just it was rammed, mate. It was just a mess, man, to be honest.
Just opened it,
it was just bonkers. I came in, man. Gary Folds was there opening the door, had a piper and all that, and it was really, really busy, you know.
So Gary Folds opened for you?
Gary Folds opened the shop for us. I messaged Gary, says, fancy opening a potato shop. He said, I would love to, man.
Did he do any stand-up when he was there? No,
No, he just came and cut the ribbon.
Did he?
I came and cut the ribbon. He never even ate that day, it was that busy.
You didn't even try one?
No. It has came back though.
Oh, right,
it has tried one since. I had a piper and a DJ, face painter.
Mm-hmm.
I had a dance school. We were out dancing in the street. It was more like a community day. I wanted to try and bring everybody together because, as I says earlier on, man, we were talking growing up and I can't remember a hype like this in that area since I grew up.
Because honestly, I remember seeing it and I'm like, he's actually blown that up so fast. And I think as well, what to touch on this is you do a lot for the community, mate, which is really important. I've noticed you connect with a lot of charities, even local businesses. You work with them very closely. So what inspires you to do that sort of stuff? Do you feel like you...
Mate, all that stuff's God's will, man. And that has to be the centre of what it is you're doing. Whatever it is, because if you're no doing God's work, man, it's not going to work. And it's something I actually really enjoy doing. I get a lot of happiness and I get a lot of peace in helping other people. And also, like, for the recovery perspective in 12-step program, in order to keep what you've got, you need to give away freely what was freely given to you. You know what I mean? So from helping people who came in and are off the street saying, I'm a wee bit ropey, I know you do recovery, any chance you can go to a meeting? It's happened. People have turned up at the shop. I says, mate, if you really want to get better, come back and I'll take you a meeting. It's turned up. I've got to take somebody to a meeting. Or I've done some charity work for the Include Me Too Club, which I do quite regularly, where I go in and I help I do stuff with the kids group, I do stuff with the adults group, make them baked potatoes. I've showed them how to make a coleslaw, we'll put it on to baked potatoes, just get interactive with them. I'm doing a social night in a couple of weeks. I managed to get them a singer and I'm going to do them all. We're all going to do dinner. We do a lot of stuff with the local local school.
Baked tatties all in for dinner?
Baked tatties all in, mate, aye. A lot of the school kids come in, so I've been engaging with like the teachers and the community police officers and stuff like that, supporting local businesses. Mate, that business to business collaboration is where it's at, because there's no competition. Like, there's no competition.
It's yourself, innit?
The only competition you've got is yourself, man. I don't get up in the morning and go, I want to be better than that totty shop, or I want to be better than that business. I just want to be a better version of myself. And the community focus. I mean, that thing at the gala day was brilliant. There's talks of doing more stuff, you know what I mean? Maybe a Christmas market, the farmers market is going to be there every week. Local businesses, just all this stuff, mate, for the community. It's all good, you know what I mean?
I think it's good as well, because some people just to the outside would just go, it's just a tatty shop, right? You're creating more than just being a baked potato shop in the middle of a town. You know what I mean? You're trying to build something bigger than that, which is admirable, mate. And it's one thing that I've always said about yourself that I've known you is you've got a lot of drive, mate, and you've got a lot of good ideas. Your creativity is mental, in my opinion. You've come up with some great ideas of me, myself as well. So,
thought a belter yesterday, man. Wait till you see it when it comes out. I'm not going to share it because somebody will steal it. What a marketing!
Well, they need to follow the page to find it.
They need to follow. If you want to follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook, and stay up to tune with all my mad mental ideas. But next one's a belter, by the way. Honestly,
good. So also, like, what would you say is your biggest setback, and how did you handle that so far for starting?
My biggest setback in life would have been the times where I was going through addiction and I didn't want to be in with my family. I didn't want to be around my mum and all that. I was driven with a negative force, man. And
what about with Spuddies? Like,
with Spuddies?
Like any setbacks you've had for the business?
Oh man, there's hundreds of setbacks all the time, mate. There's hundreds of setbacks all the time.
It's more about like
suppliers and staff, and when you're dealing with suppliers and staff and all these other things, there's always challenges. There's challenges every single day in business, mate. Every single day. It's just how you adapt and overcome, and the end of the day, you just want to get the potatoes out. You want to provide the customer service, provide good food, and that is the main goal. And you just do whatever you need to do to achieve it on a daily basis.
Obviously, you're on social media quite a lot as well. Do you feel the pressures have been on that at all at any point?
Pressure's been on a wee bit recently, I'm not going to lie. I've started to get noticed like a lot of times, man. Everywhere I go, people asking for pictures in the street and all that. It's mental.
Brilliant.
But recently, like, I'm talking about maybe influencers and people maybe like of popularity or fame or celebrity or whatever it is. You identify yourself with in that aspect, but like how upbeat you need to be all the time. So like, and I can pure identify with Lewis Capaldi's story, right? How he stopped like writing songs and that and took a wee bit of time out because it's really difficult to get up in the morning with that thing in your mind that I could just go to the shop and somebody might want a picture with me or somebody's going to know me or
and you're not feeling that in that moment.
You're not feeling
either,
that
you
in
know?
that day. Like you wake up in the morning, you're feeling down or you feel a bit tired and you're like, right, I need to get up and I need to have my crazy. You know, and another way as well, it's giving you that sort of determination to get up and better do what you need to do. But for me, the only way that I can combat it is again getting up and giving more time to God in the mornings, like in the morning getting the tunes on, worshipping, just getting up and fighting that battle, you know what I mean? Like putting the armour of God on and go like, I'm going to win this battle today, you know what I mean? Because that can also be a strategy of the enemy, you know what I mean? When these things start to come into doubt is a big one, you know what I mean? Start doubting yourself. But we're human at the end of the day, you know what I mean? So when days that you get up and you think, I can't be bothered, man, and you just want to go and do your wee thing without anybody talking to you. You know what I mean? Some days you don't want to talk to anybody. It's just human nature. But when you're getting noticed in social media and stuff like that, it can be quite challenging when you've got that thing on the back of your head. And it's important not to get carried away with it. Very, very important. But that is no what I set out today. You know what I mean?
So we're going to go behind the counter here, right? Pardon the pun. What's the funniest or craziest thing that's happened in the shop? Good or bad, I don't know. Whatever pops out in your mind.
Funniest, craziest thing.
Because it sounds like a lot's been
By the way,
happening.
the staff would be like, I can hear the staff in my head going like that and telling me hundreds of things that have happened, man. Let's see. The craziest thing or the
funniest or craziest?
The funniest thing. But a football player in Cammy McPherson's been in.
Has he?
Aye, a couple of times.
Any other people outside that?
That was quite crazy. And there's been a lot of influencers and all that's came in just out the blue. It's not like we've invited them or anything like that. I've just turned up, you know what I mean? You see all the videos like online. If you have a look, everybody that's tagged us in the Spuddies videos just showed up, man.
You know nice wee plug there for Jordan, I liked it.
So
but the craziest thing, so the staff will probably know
the staff will know more than me. I'm trying to think, man, what's the most like crazy? I don't think any it's crazy. I don't know, my level of craziness, man, might just be might need to be heavy bonkers to match it. You know what I mean? Sometimes people think things are crazy and I think they're normal. You know what I mean?
That's true. Have you ever had a sort of nightmare customer, and how did you or the staff handle that, or somebody that's been difficult to deal with?
Do you know what? Everybody that's come into the shop has been really, really nice, man. Everybody, listen, see, early doors, you're going to make mistakes. Everybody's really, really understanding. Sometimes there's a delay in potatoes coming out the oven because we're just can't cook them quick enough. You know what I mean? And everybody's really, really understanding. So I wouldn't say there's been any sort of crazy nightmare customers because we're trying to create a place where it's welcoming and it's warming. So like if you come into the shop with that attitude, I hope the vibe kills it, man, before you walk in.
Aye. And obviously I've met the staff and that, they're all good vibes and stuff like that as well.
Staff are class, man. Couldn't do it without them. Fact.
Aye, it is. So just going into like kind of the future of where you see Spuddies, so where do you see it in the next sort of 5 years?
Sold.
So you don't want to be in it. You just want to build it up, sell it.
Every successful businessman I've spoke to, I've been very, very blessed to meet people who have a hell of a lot more experience than I do, and like some of the top level in the food industry. I've had meetings with these people, and I've been talking to people, multi-millionaires, you know, people with massive franchises and stuff like that. And there's one thing that they all have in common, is that they've all built up a business and sold it. And that's just dawned on me recently that every single one of them have all sold a business. And what that does is it gives them a foundation to then grow again. Because if you've got that entrepreneurial mindset, you've got that drive, and you've got that determination. I don't know what my next adventure is going to be.
But you'll have a foundation, like you said.
You have a
start
foundation
get an idea
to grow. And coming from nothing to having something, when you've got all your eggs in one basket, can be more challenging. But if you're starting from a better foundation, then I suppose that's better. So I do want to. I'm trying to build a franchise model. For Spuddies, I think it's a great business. It's a really fun business. And I think there could be more Spuddies all over the country, man. All over the country. High footfall areas, shopping centres.
The backstory about how McDonald's started and all that. That's basically
I have.
Have you seen what's the film called?
But they're more of a estate.
It's real estate. But it's also, it ties in with what you're kind of saying. So obviously with the franchise stuff, do you know what I mean? That's how they all started, through marketing. Obviously, the guy that it was failing in America. I can't remember the name of that film. I wish I could remember. And basically, there was a marketing guy come in. He tried to market it to all these places because the actual shop was failing. Because the wee guy that had the shop, the original McDonald's, just was like, "I'm cool with this. This is all I want."
Yeah.
He's like, "No, this could be massive." And obviously, he took it on, done all the marketing stuff, turned it into a franchise. And you look at it, you know what I mean? I think franchise is a very good way to go.
Look at Black Rooster.
For the food industry in particular, I think the franchise stuff's a good way to go.
Look at places like Black Rooster, who are franchising all over the place. Cheetos is another one. They've done really, really well over the last few years. Lucky Bees as well. Nashville Hot Chicken, they're franchising all over the place. Boss Pizza, it's another one. I really, really like the guy who does that. Can he get his name at the tip of my tongue? The guy who's got Boss Pizza.
Boss Pizza.
I love listening to him, man. He's really inspirational. If I'm honest, I think the stuff that he talks about is real. And if you can actually implement what he's saying into your business, you'll do all right.
Jake, so obviously you're talking about the franchise. Is there any specific place in the world that you think Spuddies? I think America.
I'll tell you the most weirdest inquiry that I've had for a franchise so far is in Jersey. Had a guy message me saying, "Jordan, I'm for Jersey. You're all over TikTok in Jersey. Everybody's talking about Spuddies. Do you franchise?" And I inquired about it. It's not went anywhere. I'm not really in a position right now to open up a franchise tomorrow. But what I do have is I've got packs together. I've got starting to get stuff in place, and it's no far away.
Good. I wish you all the best with that, mate. Because I know some of the stuff that you've done in your lifetime, and for anybody that doesn't know, like the drive and the ambition you've got, mate, it is admirable. It's one thing I actually like about you, mate. Do you know what I mean? Because remember when we first met, I just got a vibe off you, and I'm like, I'm gonna like this guy. I don't know what it was, but now obviously getting to know you and stuff like that, now I know what it is. Do you know what I mean? Not just putting that aside, you're a good guy as well, mate. Do you know what I mean? I like you're very you'll help MD. Do you know what I mean? That's one thing you should be proud of as well.
Things happen. See, the thing is, Scott, man, things happen in life. People make mistakes and people fail and people do wrong. It's just about picking yourself up, repenting, man, and realising, you know what I mean, and then make sure you don't make the same mistake again. You know what I mean?
I've made loads myself, mate, but we get there in the end, you know what I mean? And but anyway, so do you want, obviously you don't want Spuddies to stay as a Southside gem, obviously you want to build it up, but what's the sort of dream of not just Spuddies, but like what is it you want to do with your full life in terms of like what's your dream and goals and
do you know,
on a bigger scale?
That's a question, mate. That is a question. Because my mindset is I don't think like that.
Right, okay.
I
do you not see visions, but like
I see visions, mate. I see visions. You know, I do get very vivid visions. But they're all sort of focused and centralised with what I'm trying to build and what I'm doing at this moment in time, because I think the way that I think, it's very easy for me to get messed up with what I'm trying to focus on. You know what I mean?
Does it go back to that attachment thing that you were talking about? Like,
I'd see if I had all the money in the world, do you know what I'd be doing now? I'd be building paddle courts and creating a paddle brand. There you go.
Mate, how big is that getting?
I'm telling you, it's going to be the fastest growing business in UK. I see it. I pure love it, mate. I love it. I'm pure addicted to it. Play it three, 4 times a week.
It's mad you say that, because I actually had that thought as well. Like, I was like, I mean, I don't play paddle, but I can see how quick it's grown, and it's going to end up like, see the way tennis is, you've got Wimbledon, I think it's going to get potentially to that stage where it's like all over the world broadcasted, you know what I mean? And I hope it does, because it seems like a good sport. I need to actually start playing it, because it looks good.
See, like a paddle centre where like maybe like a coffee shop or something, sort of good food and stuff like that in it, mate. It would do well, man. Do really well.
Here we go, ideas again. Look, your creative mind's gone again.
Telling you, if anybody's watching this, I want percentages.
Exactly. Sign the patent and all that.
Email me.
So a question I always ask my guests is, if you could go back 15 years to your old self and give that wee boy advice, what would it be?
You know, 15 years ago, we spoke about when about 15 years ago. And if I was to go back...
Just like life advice that you would give.
Life advice is that God loves you. You need to find love, and you'll find, if you can't find it anywhere present, God loves you. And it would also be that do not take things, do not take what people say to you heavy-handed, take them lightly. It's a hard question, mate, honestly, man. No. It's a very it's a very
on the spot. I know
hard,
it is, mate,
it's an on the spot question, man.
That's the reason I ask it, to be fair.
I would I'm out, mate. I'm out, man.
Listen, I think based on your story that you could maybe say, look, don't worry, everything's going to be alright.
Yeah. I mean, it's the question is like looking at where you're now and where you're there, and you've got a wee bit of knowledge. I tell you what, I wish I could go back 15 years with the wisdom and the knowledge that I've got now and be 15 again.
But then that goes back to what you said. It's like, you don't regret being that person 15 years ago. Everything
happens for a reason in life, man. And I mean, I was in the gutter. Mate, I was in the gutter. You know, I was staying in the Tartan Lodge up the town, homeless unit, kicked out. Moved for it at the Newton Hotel, stepping over people to get into my room, just praying that I didn't pick up drink or drugs. That was a massive turning point as well. Going through all that and staying sober was massive. But again, it's all about finding. It's not even me. It's not my power. It's not my power. It's about giving it to God, man. For me.
Good stuff. So, just a last wee question, mate, just to fling it in there, because we're at the end of the podcast now. But if you could describe yourself in 3 words:
enthusiastic, creative, godly. Aye, could say that. Mental. I would have probably said mental.
I'd agree with that. You're a bit mental, but in a good way. In a good way. I like the way you're, mate. Aye, that's us at the end of the podcast. I just want to thank you, mate, for coming on.
It's
been an absolute pleasure having you.
I've really enjoyed that, mate.
I think that that could maybe actually touch a few people out there. So if you're watching, just go into the camera and tell people where they can find you, or Spuddies, or...
Yeah. So if you're looking for Spuddies Southside, you'll find us at www.spuddiesouthside.com. We have an iOS app and a Google app, which are available to download on the website. If you want to come for food, we're based at 10 Lammermoor Avenue in Cardonald, and if anybody's got any general inquiries, you'll find the email address on the website. It's hello@spuddiesouthside.co.uk.
Brilliant, fantastic. So that wraps us up for this week's episode of the LionHeart Podcast. Stay tuned for some amazing guests that we've got coming up next. Don't forget to follow us at LionHeart Entertainment UK. It's been a pleasure having Jordan on this afternoon, and I wish you all the best, and we'll see you on the next episode. Thank you.